Greetings, race fans, and welcome to Wheel Insights, where we bring you inspirational stories from the world of motorsport, both on track and sim racing. I'm your host, Webbo, a professional motorsport commentator. This episode is with Hugo Gonçalves, the creator of the successful GearHeads podcast and the SimRacing HQ channel. He has a unique story to tell and has overcome incredible setbacks, yet remains determined to bring positivity to our shared passion for motorsport. I must apologise for the audio quality on my side. Something wasn't right there, but thankfully I didn't do a lot of the talking.
Well, I'm really pleased to welcome to the podcast the host and creator of the GearHeads podcast that has just celebrated its 1 millionth listen. So pleased. Welcome to the podcast, Hugo Gonçalves.
Thank you so much, Andrew. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my second time on the other side of the mic, so it's a little bit different and challenge, believe me.
Well, it's such a pleasure to have someone who is able to demonstrate such success in the podcasting world on the podcast, and a different aspect for this Wheel Insights podcast today. Talking to someone else who's made something pretty special out of this crazy thing we call motorsport and sim racing. Hugo, let me talk to you first of all. The first question I ask is, what's your earliest racing memory?
The other day I shared this one. My father bought me a PlayStation 1 when I passed a degree in school. So something, and I was like, 6, 7 years old. And because our family never have so much income, we have to go as old school by having a chip on the PlayStation to get games. I think it was €1. So imagine like games for £1 that we get from a neighborhood. The guy, we just give him £1 and he gives me a game. So my father get me Gran Turismo 2, Colin McRae 2 all the time, Colin McRae 1, Docker. So all that games from that period, from the 90s, 99, 2000s, was the games that bring me my memory. And after, of course, he bought me a steering wheel that survived for 5 days, I think so. So as he had a friend coming, I think he got me on Christmas. He had a friend coming on New Year. The friend is a little bit bulky, strong guy. He turned the wheel and the plastics crack. So I remember my first steering wheel survived for 5 days and was that. But I don't remember the name of the brand and everything. It should be like a Logitech something, but I don't remember.
It sounds very Colin McRae-like to either win or smash. Yeah. But so did racing on PlayStation come before an interest in motorsport, sort of trackside?
Yes and no. So, of course, when I grew up, my father was a big fan of motorsport, principal rally, as all Portuguese big fans are. Rally is probably bigger than F1 in some parts of the country. But yeah, he had a big collection of diecasts, so F1 and rally was always on the TV. Dakar, he was a big fan of Dakar too, cannot forget that part. So yeah. Dakar was always too. And as he collection diecasts, like the collection that come by post. So as a kid, I always have to go, it was me that have to go to the post every week or every quarter of the week to go and pick up the package and bring it home. So I was me, open the package, read it all and see the car for the first time. So I get used to the car models and everything by my father, but I never had the income to go. We do some track, we had some karting, but never on the racing levels or that level. Yeah. We never have the income, so it was never on the part of my brain have anything connecting to motorsport.
It's a horribly expensive pastime and investment, and it's one of the biggest problems I think that motorsport has to solve. And I think sim racing is starting to come into solving that. And I absolutely love the way that sim racing can be a stepping stone, but it can be a career on its own as well for people who don't want to or can't progress into trackside racing. It's there are still sim racing pros out there, who have no desire to be a track racer. So, I absolutely love it, and I love the fact that we're getting investment from outside of the traditional avenues of motorsport, and we're getting
I
wider.
agree with that. I agree with you, and I think we're gonna have always step backs when it comes to sim racing joining motorsport, and we saw that one on a couple of weeks ago or 2 weeks ago with the Max Verstappen drama created by some people that sim racing was destroying his race or his ability to race because he stayed longer night. And on the moment that I was speaking, I'm organizing the next episode on the podcast where I'm going to mention this one. Is we don't know what other drivers do on their free time or what they do on their nights.
Right.
Some of them, they can go on some random activities. And I think a lot of the people that complain about the sim racing, on the other hand, they're going to praise when James Hunt was winning racings and being a world champion, doing his activities, extracurriculars, as you know. So without entering on details.
My first thought when those complaints came out was, what would James Hunt say to the idea? I think he'd be disappointed in Max for doing something as sedate and sensible at 3 a.m. And you only have to look back at like the last season of Drive to Survive, and Daniel Ricciardo saying on the eve of his 2 wins, he was out partying the night before.
Yeah, exactly. And you see this one, for example, on examples on other sports. I share one story that was Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was when he was playing for Barcelona. He was catched vomit at 5 or 6 a.m. outside of a club. So completely drunk. Next time he come, on the next day he's playing and he make an hat-trick. So, and I don't see anyone go, of course, he destroyed his career with that path. Probably could be better, but no one gonna say that the alcohol or forbidden the players of going out because. So I think if Max Verstappen want to play until 3 o'clock in the morning, he's entitled because it's his free time. He do whatever he want on his free time, and I think is what sim racing needs. Unfortunately, is to crack this old mentality or this old generation that sees sim racing as something that's gonna destroy their level or going to take them away parts of the motorsport, because in terms of costs, in terms of many things, sim racing will be part of the future of motorsport. The team's going to use sim racing as or a training method or to know what they can use on the car, because the data getting so well. Sim racing level data is getting very near what is motorsport. So they're going to using as a setup training as whatever they need. And young drivers that don't have the money, they're going to using as a way of getting better. For when they go on track, they're going to be better than the guys that are not using sim racing. So I think going to be the tool of the future. And you see a lot of brands putting all the eggs on the basket on that. So why we're gonna destroy the sim racing with comments?
Yeah, I completely agree, and for many people, I think that the practice effect, the track time, has always been a major source of success in motorsport. Track time or rally time, seat time, as it were. And sim racing allows, in an environment where we are quite rightfully restricted by the environmental concerns about running cars, like in the Michael Schumacher days of just running testing. We don't do that anymore. And there's no better way to practice and get that seat time and get those setup options. And I think we're onto a really successful market and a real golden age of sim racing.
And speaking of golden age, I'm gonna share something because when some people when you go to the shower, they sing. When I go to the shower, I start having the conversations and have the scripts on my mind. And I was thinking about the golden era. I think we just gonna realize that was a golden era when this golden era finish, and we're gonna go and look to the past and gonna go, oh, why we didn't appreciate so much sim racing on that time. I think some people are appreciating, but it's still a lot of negativity, and I think there's people that bring that negativity, they're just going to realize how good it was when sim racing is going on the low spiral or whatever happened. Because on the moment, in terms of gaming industry, I don't see any other gaming industry having so many developers on software or so many developers in hardware on their gender. So if you play Call of Duty, of course you're gonna need a good monitor, a good keyboard, a good mouse, and they still deliver that. But when it comes to sim racing, we have so many brands that want to jump, because sim racing is not only a monitor or a keyboard or a mouse. We need that. We need that three, but after you need a rig. You need a good seat. You need a good monitor, 100% or 3 monitors or whatever. You need a high-end computer that not needs to happen on Call of Duties or other type of games. You need steering wheels, you need pedals. It's an handover of hardware that you needed. So if you pick up the companies that do sim racing and companies that do other type of game gender, it's completely different the level at the moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's huge. The marketplace, the spin-off industries that have happened as a result of sim racing, it's absolutely massive, and I think it's only on the up. We know about the GearHeads podcast, right? And we know that it's a huge success. But what can you tell us about the?
I don't say that it's a huge success. Let me stop with that this one, because it's quite important. The 1 million is 850,000 downloads on audio. That is where is my massive where people click. So the number of impressions on that part is completely crazy, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the name GearHeads is connecting to the motorsport, and when people search GearHeads, do you understand? So I think could be. I don't know why. So if someone asks me why, I don't know. I can. And after the rest come on the YouTube. That is a YouTube sim racing podcast on YouTube. Don't work well. I know that I've been struggling a lot to get the numbers right, or to understand why one day I have 10K and next day I have 500 views, as you can understand. So I never want to crack that algorithm. I'm not so good on that part. So this 1 million is a luck part, and after is due to the fact that when I was sick, Samsung healthcare, because Samsung is divided by different sub companies inside of Samsung, and they do a lot with healthcare related to what we're going to speak after on the future about cancer. So because all of them are so related, they use that, and they use sometimes some episodes that they like it on their newsletter. Say, look, this guy, and that creates a little bit of numbers on YouTube, not on the audio, because they don't use the audio, they use the YouTube. So on the final, it's a question of likely. So I don't think it's a massive success inside of sim racing. I think we have some sim racers that like it, but I think my general public, unfortunately, is more outside of sim racing than is inside of sim racing. I need to be honest with that.
No worries at all. And I mean, I appreciate that. But I look at the numbers. I also look at the guests you've had, and I particularly enjoyed Antonio Felix da Costa and his interview with you. That's a huge get. So, what has the journey been like with the podcast for you?
So the podcast started, and if you want to be honest, started not because I wake up and I say I want to do podcasts, I want to do sim racing. So I was getting sick during the Science 2018 with cancer. Cancer was 2017, 2018, colon cancer that gets almost cured, but come after COVID, then everyone forgot that the people that need treatments that still need to go to the hospital, as you guys know. I know, at no point I blame ABC, because this was something that the world was not prepared. We don't know whys and the whys they do that type of decisions, but yeah, that decision caused me to the cancer reallocate to other parts of the body and reallocate to my upper left limb, so my arm and my right leg. And from there, of course, the cancer mutates and spread it to the lungs and everything. So when it comes 2012, I got married with Christina. That is my wife. She take the challenge of marry me. Knew that I was sick. Knew that would never know when I will get sicker or not, because I was already group stage, palliative. They say that they could not do nothing. The cancer will take his way of mutate or not mutate. So whatever will happen will happen. And they say it wasn't. And until I lost, I could cut my limbs and live without my limbs. But if my limbs was moving, if I could do my daily basis, why I would cut them? If you understand me. So I take the risk, knowing that could get worse. But I say at least I can still do my life, and I don't want to cut them and not have regret. But come Christmas 2022, and during I was working for Thomas Carriage in UK. Is a 2 Michelin-star restaurant and 1 Michelin-star restaurant. So it's one of the top chefs in UK, and I was working, and suddenly I forgot who I was. I could not hold my limb. Wow. My limb get fall down. So I will start having panic attacks because I don't know where I was. They take me to hospital. They start saying that they didn't know what was. There was epilepsy, dementia. They didn't know, and I was not allowed to work. So after in February, I decided, because I start forgetting who I was, start getting slurrish, that you can notice still on my voice, and I say I need to do something that's gonna make me speak. And the idea was use the rest of the money that we have, because I was getting no income. My wife was paying all the bills. I say, and I will use my left incomes to spend the money on the computer, of course with the help of my family. We bought the high-end computer that was possible on that time, and let's buy a microphone and let's start recording slowly. And I started recording from the bed because I was not able to sit down properly. So from there, the podcast started going. I think I went with 9-10 episodes until the things started getting a little bit better, and I started sit down on the desk. So until after I decided go camera and video, go a little bit a big story. But yeah, the podcast started. The story is the podcast started because I need to do something with my health, and that would obligate me to speak. So if you go to the first episodes, they are horrible. I cannot listen. They are really horrible. I have great guests, but they are horrible. I have great guests as Suelio Almeida, Alex Cascatao, so professional drivers, Isaac Tumtunum, that after put my name on his car on Spa. So that's something that's, for a kid that is sick, see a car on May with his name on the top of the car with the GearHeads podcast there. It take a challenge, and after it didn't went so well on Spa, but after it went well in Nürburgring, went well in Barcelona. So these type of things made me believe that probably I could do something better with the podcast, and instead of just be about helping me, be about helping others. So that's the goal of the podcast. The podcast, as you know, we sponsor a couple of drivers. Not much, unfortunately, not with the money that I will say, I'm sponsor them with 5K, 10K, 15K. Unfortunately, no. Is when they come to the podcast, the revenue that we do from the podcast, I reallocate them 100% to the drivers. So we have drivers as Jude Peters, that is driving with my logo on the car, on the Ginetta UK, on the Junior. So I'm connecting to brands with Logitech on the same car. So for me, that's the win. I see Motorsport UK there, the logo, and I see my name on the side is amazing. And after I sponsor a rally cross kid that have put a massive logo on his car for me. He came to the podcast with his father. The revenue generated was going to them. After you have John Murrow from Traxio, that the revenue that when he lost the job at Traxio because of what we know that happened, the revenue that when he came to the 2 episodes or 3 episodes, I don't remember, all the revenue I sent to him to help him do surviving on this period. And you know, yeah, that's the thing of the podcast, is try to bring drivers. Of course, Antonio Félix da Costa don't need any publicity, but Antonio Félix da Costa need to come to help me create the guest, create the viewership that I can support the other ones. So when he knew what I was doing, he said, "Hey, let me jump on your podcast. Let's do that. Let's try to create the viewership, and probably the next guest that's gonna have, you're gonna have more views because I was there." And the same thing with Philippe Albuquerque. He came, we get the 20k on the YouTube, and that help the after when we put Shoot Peters to have the 15k. 100%, I think the people that came after came because Philippe was there, and that helps to create a more revenue to help a young driver. It's a challenge. It's hard, but we are going there. I hope so.
That's fantastic. I mean, bravo. I mean, that really is turning a really disastrous situation for yourself around, and not only improving your own situation and giving yourself a reason to train your brain. And you know, let's not forget, this is not your first language. We're doing this podcast in, I certainly don't hear any slurring. So you're doing amazingly, and I have to say, hats off to you.
I think that is because you always see your flaws before other persons, and I don't want people to think is it is not a fake humbleness, because I was not that humble. The humbleness come with what we learn or what life throws to you. So when someone said to you, "You don't going to survive until the end of 2023. You just have 5-6 months. Enjoy your life." You get humble because you lost everything, and after is due to other persons that you keep fighting. So this slurish, is here. Probably you don't notice, is here, and is getting better because the podcast helped me to do. And when I'm alone recording, you don't imagine how many hours I pass recording because the slurry is so big. Sometimes take me like 1 hour to do a 1 minute phrase on video. That's why I don't do reviews, podcast, sim racing reviews, and all this type of things, because I'm still not 100% feel brave to go in front of the camera or to speak following a script. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not comfortable. I'm not there. I'm not a random call sign or a Boost Media or Lawrence Tuzuoza, Gamer Muscle. All these great guys. I know them outside, and they have like a persona when they go in on the camera. They are so brave to do it, despite of the negativity that they might receive or not. They are brave guys. I would love to be like them, but unfortunately, I'm not that brave.
Some really dark times, Hugo. I mean,
yeah.
And I know you've credited your wife for a lot of the positivity in our life.
Yep.
Firstly, how are you now? It doesn't sound anywhere near as dark as it did before, but how are you now, and how do you get through?
In July last year, because I have to be honest, until from December 2022 until till August, until the operation, my memory of what happening will be to a stand of 20% to 30% of what was happening surrounding me. I don't remember very well what was happening surrounding. Apparently, I meet Jimmy Broadbent, or Jimmy Broadbent drove me on his Supra at Donington, according with my wife pictures. I don't remember be there. I don't remember see him. According, I done something with a random call sign that I don't remember. So it's a lot of things that I don't remember. And I was lucky because I put on a blogger for the doctors what was happening with me. I was always posting at least every week. I used to have a post-it on the computer to say what I should do, or put memories on the phone, alarms to say, oh, you need to do this one, for I remember that I need to do something.
Yeah.
And I used to post. And a private doctor for a big company in UK, that's Circle Health, saw it, told me that I can do it, I can remove your cancer, but there's a chance that not success. So take it or leave it. It was not a 50-50 chances, it was a little bit lower, but it's a chances. It's very pricey. If the operation go well, you have to pay everything. If the operation don't go well, you just have to pay the hospital fees. That was very low, really low hospital fees. Will be comparing with what I have to pay, would be very, very low. So I did my family, we need to have this money. If I have this money, I can get operated. If the operation is not success, I will receive the money. I will not, because I pay after. So I will not just have to pay these fees, but we need to have this money ready in case of this happen. So I sold my cars, I sold my motorbike, that I was already sold before. My mother take a loan because I was sick. I was not allowed to take a loan, as you all know, because of some friends, father of one of my oldest friends, that's a doctor in Portugal. He had sold the property, so he had a lot of money that came for that property. So we pick up the money and put the money on to help me. And we went to the operation, and I was not feeling my arm. I didn't remember who I was until the operation. When I came from the operation, after 2 weeks, I would know who I was. I would remember my name. I would remember my wife. I would remember my mom. I would remember how to turn on my PC, how to turn off my PC, how to eat, how to cook, how to speak, and my arm was able to move. Cost me, I can say to you, probably half of a mortgage that you need to give to a house. So we're talking about 6-figure levels, the cost on total, because I still have to have other operations after that, because reappear something on my leg in May, so I had to go straight away to other operation. That didn't cost a big amount, but still was a severe amount that we have to pay. But you see, all of that happened because I went to the internet. So if I never I went to the internet and put on blogs from doctors, I would not be here.
Amazing.
Now I'm fully functional, not 100%, but it is what it is. I'm never going to recover 100% the strength on my arm or on my leg, but they move. They are able. I just need my right leg to go and push the accelerator, the throttle. I don't need my right leg for nothing more than on SimRacing. As I'm from Portugal, I change gears with my right. That is an advance that I can do on a sim, because I have the sim adapt to European car standards and not to the UK car standards. I'm honest with that. But yeah, so I'm still able to do whatever I want to do. And the moment I work for Silverstone on the new project that is opening very, very soon, it's already I would say it's already 95% ready. That is Escapade Silverstone. It's a private hotel inside of the truck with the views to maggots, backcuts, to all the corners. You can see nine corners from there. It's something unique. So I'm working for there as a part of the front desk team, something that I never work, so something that I never done. I'm not very good with people, but now I have to be speaking every second with people, dealing with face-to-face things that I'm not I'm not very comfortable. But it's a job. I'm there inside of Silverstone. So for me, even if it was as a steward or whatever the job was, just the fact that you are working inside of such an amazing truck and endless possibilities when you join the team there is amazing. And I still have to work to pay the medical bills. I work on Audi a lot of the mornings, so 5 o'clock in the morning. when I'm on late shifts at Silverstone, and when it's possibility, normally I jump on Audi to stock 5 o'clock to 10, just stock everything that you can, and that helps me a little bit mobility. And after I do other extra job, that is making videos for some companies when they ask me to put some videos together or some reels. That's what I do. So we need to do everything possible to recover and take away the burden that my family and all my friends added to put money to help me.
I'm sure they don't consider it a burden, and I'm sure it is a tiny price to pay to have you healthy and well and back with everybody. And
Yeah, but you don't want to own money on this day to the other persons, and after people come to your home and you have a new Simucube Pro, or this case a new Mercedes steering wheel that is like 3K, I think so. I think it's a price 3K. I don't remember now, but imagine, and now so I put that part away, and on the moment I need to make sure that, because on personal level, if you been for something like this and you own money of other persons, you need to pay. Every time this brings you the memory of what was the past. So and the way of you put a stone and remember that cancer is away, all these bad memories are away. Whatever the sadness, or whatever the stress that you put on your family, your wife, or everything is away, is make sure that everything is finished. If you understand me. So as soon as everything is finished, everything is paid, everything is I know that 200% I made it. Until there, I still feel that despite it being a different battle, I still feel that we still battle the cancer. Despite I'm on a remission, we still battle this challenge.
From a personal point of view, I wish you every success and health.
Thanks.
What an amazing story. What can you tell us about SimRacing HQ?
SimRacing HQ before was that was my nickname all the time, was Ving GearHeads. I never was with SimRacing HQ. But after Google and YouTube told me that they could not pay me because of the Ving name that is connected to a company, I don't know, Danish company or Swedish company from traveling agency. I don't remember now very well. So I just say, okay, I need to move the name, and I go, the most simple, I went to ChatGPT. I'm really honest, because I could not think on anything. I put everything that I was doing on a channel, and I asked, give me names, and he gave me like a couple of 10 names, and one of them was SimRacing HQ, and I go, okay, that's a simple name. It works. I remember I asked random call sign, he said to me, yeah, it's a cool name. I said, okay, so I'm gonna put it, because the logo can be CHQ, that so SimRacing HQ. I get a guy on Fiverr to make me the logo. The guy can come with a logo. I say, okay, that's it. I don't want any more association with the Ving. I don't know why on YouTube will not be working. They say that could be generate problem because they are Ving and they do a lot of publicity stunts with a name. So you know what? Sometimes I don't care. It's an easy problem to sort it out. Just change the name. I didn't have so many viewerships. I had like, I think 400 followers on YouTube. I say, if I change it, I think nobody will notice. So just change it. And yeah, come SimRacing HQ. That is the main idea, is being something that's gonna help. Like I say, my idea was making reviews. I have big ideas, but unfortunately I don't have the time or the skills on the moment to do it. I hope that soon my skills get better and I get more strength to do. But yeah, GearHeads is part of GearHeads is a podcast. I didn't want to change the name GearHeads because I think was working. Like I told you, you go on when you look for something motor, normally put GearHeads, and on the audio part create a lot of impressions. So I want to stack it because it works on YouTube. On YouTube, no, because if you put GearHeads on YouTube, it goes for a cooking channel. Don't ask me how, but anyone if put GearHeads on YouTube, You go for the cooking channels. The most viewer is a cooking channel, an American from some American TV that use GearHeads as a. So from that I say, okay, no, I need to have GearHeads cannot be on YouTube, and I stick with the SimRacing HQ.
Amazing. So, let me ask you then: do you still play video games for fun?
Yes. On the moment, I think the game that we play for fun is Overcook with my wife.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you know if you know the game. It is a game that can destroy a lot of relationships, I think so. Because sometimes we forgot, oh, you burned the pizza, or you didn't send me give me the food, I need to chop to put. So yeah, create a lot of stress level sometimes. But on the first day, I think now Christina is a little bit more relaxed, and me too. Not only Christina, me too. More relaxed on Overcooked. But yeah, I part of that when I don't, of course, a part of sim racing. I don't spend too much time on other video games. I don't have time. I have to be honest. Not because I don't want.
You're racing at the moment. What's your sim setup and sim platform of choice?
So I know, because we are not in camera. On the back, I have a Monza that was given to me by a random call sign. So this Monza R9 was given to him for me. I have Thrustmaster, that was the last piece of gear that I bought before I get sick. Was Thrustmaster TGT1 with the Sparko wheel, racing wheel, the Sparko GT, the F1 steering wheels, and all that gadgets. On the rig on the moment, I have the InSim pedals. They are helping me. They are partners. They don't sponsor 100% because I didn't want to take money from a company when I just do audio and podcast. I think is not fair for them. If they want to help me on getting some equipment or helping the drivers that we support, sending them some equipment from them, I prefer that receive the money and so the only sponsor that I have that I receive a lot of gear is Samsung. So Samsung send me the 49 OLED monitor. They send me the 57, but I don't have space at home. I honest, and I say to them, I don't have space at home. I don't gonna be able to walk on the room.
Yes.
Because I was using my living room. Now I move out homes and I have a single room just for the sim racing, but it's not a big room. It's like 2 meters by 2 meters, something that is not huge, as you understand. So I have that, and Rode is they are a ghost sponsor. So what Rode do? Rode send me equipment for I can use because they want me to progress, but they don't want to use that as a publicity stunt for their part, and they don't want me to use that as So what they say to me is, we send you a microphone, that's what I'm using. I have a couple of Rode X, is coming some Rodecasts for podcasts outside, but the main goal is they want to help me, support me, but they don't want to use it as you understand. Oh, this person went for a bad cancer or whatever, and now he's using our equipment. They feel that is not the way of what they do. So when the podcast get a success, they want to say that they're supporting as a ghost partner, and after now that everything is well, let's work together. So for me, works, and I say thank you for Rose to take the challenge on helping me supporting on this small adventure.
That's fantastic. So when you are racing, when you're sim racing, which platform and where do you enjoy racing the most?
Depending on the day. I have different Hugo versions when it comes to sim racing. So I think you're gonna relate it to this one. If a day I want sweating, I will go for a rally, and normally Dirt Rally 2 will be the choices. I'm quite enjoy WRC at the moment because of the variety of cars, and I really want Codemasters to shine with the WRC. I think despite they think that the change for Unreal Engine 5 that we know is not the best when it comes to racing games. I still think they are a company that try to do the best they can, and I support them 100%. So WRC, if I want something more challenge, I prefer Assetto Corsa to iRacing. I know iRacing is where you go to race others.
Yeah.
Assetto Corsa probably is where you're going to race your friends. So different parameters. But I feel that Assetto Corsa give me a more variety of tracks. I feel that in some ways is more real. I know it's a very hardcore topic. Some people agree, some people not agree. So I think go to the person. But on the moment, I'm enjoying Le Mans Ultimate. I think
Oh yeah.
they come out from as a studio from a bad reputation, and they are coming slowly achieving something that is really good. And Automobilista too, I know that went on the dark side. I've coming back from the dark side with the 1.5. I think the 1.6, from what I reading, is coming with something good. And is an easy sim. And sometimes I like easy things. I just like to jump, do my races. If I want to change from race A to race B very fast without any problems.
Sure.
So I don't have so much free time, so iRacing is not good because iRacing limits you a little bit on the timetables when you are able to race.
Yeah.
So I prefer sometimes the offline racing myself than the online racing.
Yeah, I think I'm similar actually. I'm similar because I race so infrequently that when I do race, I just want to switch something on that I'm comfortable with that makes me happy in the moment, and enjoy it.
Exactly. And your youth, I think I speak for myself. I immerse myself a lot when I'm driving sim racing.
Yeah.
I immerse a lot. I never thought that I will immerse myself so much. I'm really honest. I sweat. I go with the corners. I don't feel the damage, but yeah. But when I go off track and I hit something or I hit a hole, or I feel it personally.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think sim racing, everyone will have a different interpretation of sim racing and the way they immerse themselves. Some people need the motion, some people don't need the motion, some people need having very high Newton meters. If I race with 5 or I race with 9, of course it's the difference, but I will enjoy on the same way. Man, like I say, I have 1 hour free. I just want to jump, sit down, race the maximum I can, enjoy the maximum I can, and after go to do the rest I need to do.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. I completely agree. So, okay, a few questions then as we bring things to a close. What's next for you, Hugo, in podcasting? What do you most want to achieve?
Like I said to you, I want to young sim racers, a young generation, see the podcast as an opportunity to come and expose their story and feel free to tell what they feel with sim racing. Because the idea of the podcast, like I say, is create a possibility for drivers use it as a publicity stand for them or as a promotion for them, because they do the podcast go audio, go video, and after we do the reels, and they are free to use them wherever they want, because I'm not here to take them any money or to take them anything. They know if they want to come out, it's free. I'm never gonna say that if you want to come you need to pay. No, if you need to come, it's completely free. If you want to do live and it's a possibility to do on a live place, we do on a live place. If you just have to be remotely on face to face, we do no face to face, we do remotely. It's up to you, but the driver will have they will decide whatever he wants to do on the podcast. I send the script. If they don't want to talk about A, they don't talk about A. If they want to talk about B because they think it's going to be very good for them to use it on Reels or using them on their publicity, use it, feel free, because I want to be a safe place where you talk about sim racing. And if you like Assetto Corsa, nobody going to judge you. If you like iRacing, nobody going to judge you. If you say that sim racing is not helping your career, feel free, because that help. I want the brands to, when if they see the podcast, to understand. Look, the drivers they say that is missing ABC on sim racing hardware. Why we don't use it? Or drivers that say that, like Felipe Albuquerque, I do 20 laps and that's a maximum, because after I drive the sim, I not drive anymore the real car. And he don't want to get used to drive the sim. He want to get used to drive the real car with his feelings. This for me is important to people understand that. For like we speak on the beginning, to break down this old mentality that sim racing is not part of motorsport, because sim racing 100% will be part of motorsport. I'm telling you, not on our generation probably, because it's still breaking and open doors, but on the future, on the next generation, I'm 100% sure that every driver that are motorsport going to be a world champion, he will use sim racing as a tool, or for training tracks, or for setups, or whatever. They will be a tool.
Yeah, I completely. I agree, and it's really exciting time. So that's amazing. So, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Tricky. I just do whatever make you happy, and don't care about other ones. I reach now that, like you say, that 1 million. The people that support me more, of course, my wife 100%, and my mom been support me a lot, because I think she thought that I would not be here, and I think that make her realize that she need to support whatever I want to do now, because I think from a mom perspective, come to UK, and the son don't recognize, and the son stay on according with what my wife explained to me. I will be shouting, or I will be afraid of when she touch me. I think that probably have a strong the opinion of your mom against you. So I think probably now my mom see me as a person that need to be probably protect, or need to be help in achieve the next step. So my mom and my wife are the main supporters, but a lot of the main supporters, for example, being Danny Giusa from Adax Sim Expo. He's been instrumental, not a supporter that is every day, but a person that's been helping me open doors. When I was sick and I didn't have possibility to go to the Sim Expo because for free, because I didn't have the viewership on YouTube or on Instagram. I explained to him who I was, and he opened me the doors. He let me come for free. And after he came to the podcast, and he shared a lot of feelings, unique feelings that I never saw him sharing with other persons. So for me, that is the type of support that I've been receiving. Just do whatever you like it, because someone on the world will support you. It might not be the person next to you or your close friends, but you're related. Probably the people that support you more are going to be a person on Australia that like what you do and support you, and focus on them, because after you will grow up a community, and you will be probably doing something unique.
That's tremendous advice, Hugo. Thank you for that. Is there anything left that I haven't asked you that you would like to say?
Okay, first, support Webbo. We need to support him, and I will have you on my channel as soon as I spend the calendar. I think for the end of the year, I will want to join us.
Oh, that's very kind.
As soon as my calendar we do, because it's a way of supporting you, is having you on my channel too. Because like I say, it's about the stories, it's about helping others. And when you do this, I know that I believe in karma. I don't know if you believe in karma. I believe in karma. I know when you spread good and when you help others, no, you're not going to receive it instantaneously, but you will receive it step by step. So helping others probably is helping my channel, if you understand. So
yeah, of course.
For sure I will. And I don't know if you ever feel that you passing for something similar. I know he's a very big sim racer that unfortunately been sick with cancer, and he's been outcoming. That he is very close to Sueli Almeida. He's Buzz. He's a 7K driver on iRacing. So it's very, very big part of the SimRacing community. And I know that he's been passing for this one. And if you pass for something like this, or wherever it is, don't close yourself, please. Just, I know it's sad. Sometimes we cannot talk or cannot speak because of repercussions, of family or friends, because your friends can go away. That happened to me. All my friends suddenly stopped speaking, or they didn't have time because life continued when I was sick, so they didn't have time to come to see me. That things happen, but speak. If you need to speak with me, speak with me. I'm going to be always open to speak with anyone that needs sometimes to tell what happened in their life. And if you want to talk sim racing, come to me, because more we talk about sim racing, better I know. Because like I say, I know 1% of sim racing. I don't know. I'm not the biggest brain on sim racing, and I'm never going to be comparing like random call signs and all these big YouTubers. But talking with everyone and keep talking and keep learning make us get the knowledge. If you understand me.
Tremendous. I mean, absolute beautiful message. And what a privilege it's been. I'm so grateful that you've been able to share this story with us today. And all the very best to Hugo and to the success of SimRacing HQ, the success of GearHeads, the continued success of GearHeads. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much.
Well, what a story. I'm really grateful to Hugo for the chat and, of course, for sharing such a personal and harrowing experience. Please support him in any way you can. Once again, the podcast is called GearHeads by SimRacing HQ. I caught up with previous guests for you too. Episode 1's Mathieu Gautier-Thornton has had a break from competitive driving, yet has been having plenty of adventures on jet planes, cars, his vintage motorbike restoration project, small planes, and much more. Very well worth a follow on Instagram. Claudia Lance-Jones has been very busy and successful and has been kind enough to share this.
Hello, this is Claudia Lance-Jones coming to you with an update from what's happened over the last 12 months since we last caught up. I'm trying to remember where I would have left off, actually. Must have been just finishing my last round in the KAs. A lot has changed, but still chasing the same goals, so I guess nothing's really changed. But yeah, it's been a crazy year so far. It has flown by. I can't believe we're already over halfway and all that jazz. But started out with becoming a factory driver for a fairly prestigious team called BRM Racing UK. So BRM Racing UK basically used to be in the UK years ago. It's an Italian company. They race all over Europe. And as I said, they used to compete in the UK. I think Lando, Norris, George Russell and other well-known names used to race for them, but they left the UK and just raced in Europe. However, they're back, and the guys who are bringing them back in the UK asked me to become a factory driver for them during this process, which I obviously was over the moon about and immediately said yes. And I've been racing for them in the Rye House Pro Kart Series over the last sort of 6-7 months. And I believe I've managed to get us about 4 or 5 pole positions, which is more than I ever did in any of the previous years. So safe to say I like the BRM. It works for me. I like it. Yeah, we've been a bit unlucky with mechanical failures. I had a bit of a run of going from pole to DNF because the kart broke. And often things that were just bad luck. So almost a bit more frustrating that there's nothing we could have done. However, I am speaking to you just days after our most recent round where we had huge success. I put us on pole. I had a great race start, except for someone almost taking me out. But they got black flagged, so that was okay. And passed on to my teammates. They just extended our lead, and we went pole to P1. So really, really brilliant result for the team, and just goes to show that even though we've got no one else with any information about BRM and BRM chassis, we're still figuring it out. We're still working out how to make it fast, what works for us, and that's part of the fun, I believe. So yeah, it's going really well and excited to see where it goes. I believe we are the only BRM pro car in the world. So yeah, you won't be able to see this anywhere else but here. So that's pretty cool. In other news, I was invited to go and meet Jamie Chadwick a few months ago. I got the call from Daytona saying, we're looking for girls interested in Jamie Chadwick series. We're going to do the launch. So this was before the championship even started, before it was even confirmed. And they were just looking for girls who would be interested in doing it. They called me and they said, come along for the launch day. You'll get to meet Jamie. It should be quite a fun event. So I showed up and there were loads of girls, like 30, 40, 50 girls or something. And, you know, we're all young girls determined to make it. So there was a good, healthy, competitive atmosphere. We did a qualifying and then we did a race in the afternoon. I managed to get pole in the qualifying, which I was obviously really happy about. But got a bit of a dud car in the race, so went backwards. But managed to hold on to third place, so that was good. But yeah, had a really, really fun time there. Met some, obviously, amazing people. Met Jamie, BBC Sport were there, ITV were there. I was on the news. It was a much bigger day than I could have ever expected. I met some really cool people. I remember there was a girl there who had only done sim racing, and she was somehow absolutely rapid in a go-kart. And it was just, it's hard to get your head around that, but it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how you get there. If you're quick, you're quick, and it will always show on track. So that was cool and quite eye-opening. But yeah, best of luck to all the girls who have been doing the Jamie Chadwick series. I wish I could have done it. I just cannot afford it. I've actually been working 2 jobs recently, actually 3 last month, just to try and afford to race at all. So yeah, it's been a difficult year compared to last year financially with the change in jobs and stuff like that, but still determined, still working towards the goal. And yeah, maybe next year I can give a go on the Jamie Chadwick series. But looking slightly further ahead, I am still guns blazing with my rally dreams. I've got my Motorsport UK pack, so kind of can't go back now because I bought the pack. I have to do rally. But yeah, got the pack and going to Lydden Hill in a couple of weeks' time to go and watch the British Rallycross Championship, I believe is what it's called. I'm going to go along there purely just, you know, I'm self-funded. My family are lovely, but they're not really interested in motorsport, and I'm of the age where, you know, I've got to do this myself. So the support is limited. And it can be obviously quite daunting being a female, going into male-dominated sport, especially into rally, which is, for me, a world of unknown. It's easy for me to get overwhelmed by it all and sort of shut down. But yeah, I took a step back and just thought, what's the next thing I can do? And that's go to an event and talk to people and find out, how can I get into this fabulous sport? Where do I begin? Is it buggies? Is it approaching teams? Is it going to a rally school? How do I get into this cheaply and efficiently? Which just doesn't really associate with motorsport. Cheap doesn't, they shouldn't be in the same sentence. So yeah, gonna go and do that in a couple of weeks and see what that brings. And then lastly, even further ahead, I think I must have briefly touched on it, that I've started a fitness brand with a guy called Brad, who is Max Verstappen's personal trainer. So he was basically Max's right-hand man. As soon as Max came off track, he would pass his helmet to Brad. So yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. He knows what he's talking about. He knows his stuff, and he's got a lot of cool stories. So yeah, absolutely honoured to be working with him. We've done some filming together. We've built some plans. We've started building the website. So that is all go, go, go. We're doing that with Harry from MPH Karting Academy. He's really the man behind it all, putting in all the work to get it together. Yeah, so us 3 are still creating that, and then it should hopefully launch within the next few months. We're mostly targeting younger kids, because I think a lot of kids don't necessarily understand the physical aspects of racing driving, so some of it's just educational, some of it will be programs. Yeah, so that's really exciting. Other than that, I mean, I could talk for another 3 to 5 business days about this, but I think that's pretty much everything. I'm always hungry for more. I'm still chasing the dreams. Would have liked to have achieved more over the year, but I think even if I was on the top step of a Rally Championships podium, I'd still want more. So yeah, it's in my nature to just always be hungry for more, and I can't wait to see what 2025 will bring.
Well, huge updates from Claudia there. There's no doubt she'll make it to Rallycross in my mind, and it seems like working 3 jobs is the theme of this episode today. As for me, well, like Mathieu, I've had a break from track action, needing to stay near home recently, but I've been very busy building my freelance voiceover and commentary projects. Doing so has accidentally built my YouTube channel a bit, where you can now find me regularly live streaming with the likes of the International Racing League, Super Formula, Deviant, and elsewhere a couple of spells with the International Racing Organisation, the Boxing Academy, and a forthcoming VR cricket game. I'd love to see you there in the live chat, so please subscribe if you haven't already. You can find me at Webbo Red 5 everywhere. That's WEBBO RED and the number 5. If you have suggestions for this podcast or for paid commentary, promotional, voiceover, or similar opportunities. Until next time, race fans, this is your checkered flag.